All right, fellas, week 13 is mostly in the books in the NFL. Just one game left tonight. It's going to be Cowboys-Ravens kicking off shortly. But the weekend was full of blowout surprises and had some big playoff implications. The Browns secured their first winning season in about 700 years. The Giants shocked the world. Bill Belichick curb stomped the Chargers. And Alex Smith, well, he left Heinz Field with the Comeback Player of the Year trophy, most likely. That's just the wave tops. So, Jay, what was your biggest takeaways from this weekend in the NFL?
There ain't nothing I like more than a big old pretend bowl. That's what I'm talking about. The Browns and the Titans. That's the good old pretend bowl. Ain't no way these two teams came in there 8-3 apiece, and Cleveland come in there and look like they're gonna beat them to absolute shreds, and then of course they let Tennessee flop on back in the game. And if you didn't watch this game or look at it at all, you say, man, them two teams played a competitive one of them old school Big 12 shootouts.
Old school Big 12 shootout. I like it.
Cleveland came in there and just drug them through the mud for about, the first half. And then you got Baker Mayfield running in the end zone, taking pictures, all this other type of stuff. And then Tennessee all of a sudden. And then Ryan Tannehill just gives you the illusion that he's arrived and he's earning his paycheck. And then when it wrapped in and just wrap it up being one big L. This game didn't do anything for me, although I think it was probably the best matchup on paper of the weekend. I still don't think either one of these teams are for real. But you're right. Congratulations on Cleveland. You won it. You got a winning season. You know what? It's interesting. I was thinking about this earlier. If you threw Carson Wentz on the Cleveland Browns, I think the Cleveland Browns will win a Super Bowl. I really do. I think, and despite the Baker Mayfield, all of a sudden, 4 touchdowns in one half, and the best thing they've seen since they thought they had a quarterback 20 years ago, whoever they drafted, Tim Couch or something. I don't know. Neither one of those teams are for real. Tennessee should be ashamed of themselves, though. I know I don't believe in either team, but Tennessee, Mike Vrabel should be ashamed of that team today. This whole week. That's terrible. I look at New England, what they did to the Chargers. Ooh, New England looks interesting. The way they play, Cam Newton can go out there. He don't even have to crack 100 yards. He doing his own Ryan Tannehill impersonation, looking like Ryan Tannehill from the playoffs, where he throw for 80-some yards and they still just running it up on people. They got that running game with Damian Harris in there holding it down. Sonny Michel looks spry when he gets in the game. That passing attack, I don't know what they're doing, but they're another team. They don't have all that great receivers. But their defense, those 3 cornerbacks or 4 cornerbacks, you throw Jason McCourty in there with Gilmore, J.C. Jackson, Jonathan Jones. They can just flat out lock you down back there. Of course, Devin McCourty, what he does on the back end. But that defense is playing extremely well. It's one of those situations when you get Bill Belichick against a young quarterback, sometimes he can just dial it up and make you look silly. And that was easily Justin Herbert's worst game as a professional. It happens. It ain't no big deal. But it's one of those things where you just look at the Chargers and you're like, they seem to be typically before this game, they're just in every game, in most games, but they just can't figure it out. And they've been that way for years. And I don't know if this is an Anthony Lynn thing. And I don't think the man's in any danger of getting fired. I think he'll just come back next year with a second-year quarterback and we'll continue on. But it's just I've had questions about Anthony Lynn, for years. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I don't think there's much difference between him and Vance Joseph, to be quite honest with you. We know how quickly John Elway got Vance Joseph on out of town. So we'll see how what happens when that. Speaking of Denver, Denver put up a well-respected, participation trophy battle against Kansas City on Sunday night. Wasn't near enough to get it done. Just too much weaponry. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. You got Le'Veon Bell in there. Just the luxury items that they have. The defense, putting on a decent performance, against an offense that really can't do all that much. But it's kind of similar to what we saw last year. Kansas City, we looked at their defense on the first half of last year and was like, well, is this defense going to do anything for you? And maybe this is the type of performance that can, lead to a strong second half. But other than that, I thought overall it was a kind of a bland slate. I thought the Indianapolis Houston game was pretty entertaining. Deshaun Watson did almost everything correct in that game, and had a snap just go through his fingers at the end, cost him that game. But And also, I think Arizona was a little disappointing with what they weren't able to do against the Rams. They seemingly have, fallen back to the pack. They're 6-6 right now, which is probably more in line what I think we expected from them overall. But Kyler Murray, he's really fallen off in recent weeks. DeAndre Hopkins didn't have much to say against Jalen Ramsey. But I think overall, pretty bland schedule, and nothing I don't think really. When I lead off with the pretend bowl, there's not a whole lot to get excited about in my estimation.
So, yo, the Lions won. Yeah. Hey, y'all think Bob DeVille gonna keep his job?
What? He gone, ain't he?
Matt Patricia?
Is he fired already?
Yeah, he's fine. He's out. He's gone. Yeah, no.
Yeah, Daryl Bevel's running the show. That's why they won.
They show you how interested I am in the Lions.
I think you missed that week. That was the week you were out last week.
It was Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia got fired.
Listen, it's the Detroit Lions. I missed that whole season. Bob DeVille. This is just the first. I think this is the first show I've been on since he's been cut. And I had to give him a shout out to him and his number 2 lead pencil. Now, with that said, hey, did y'all hear that Taysom Hill just threw his first touchdown as a quarterback this weekend? That is fantastic. That's what I'm saying. Like, like, you know what I'm saying? Let's throw a little fiesta, a little party for that. You know what I'm saying?
Attention to orders.
But listen, I'm with Jay. The schedule wasn't the best. I was probably a week or so ago, I was interested in seeing the Bengals and the Dolphins again. We know what happened to Joe Burrow. You know what I'm saying? Get well, Joey B. Do you? Tua came out and did his thing. I got to agree with Jay on this Cleveland versus Tennessee. Here's the deal. Neither one of them teams moved the needle for your boy no more. Cleveland, I gave you a shot. I gave you a shot early in the year, and you didn't come through. So I don't care about what you're gonna make the playoffs. Cool, boom. They threw an extra spot out, and it probably had your name on it from the start. Either way, that's cool. Keep beating up on like teams that's not real. Build your confidence up. Holler at your boy. But here's the deal.
3 teams, they don't count.
No, they don't count. Because when you dive into the 8,
we would say the same thing if Tennessee won.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sick. Like this old stat padding they doing over here. But either way, we ain't talking about Kyle Trask yet. So look, here's the deal.
Oh my God.
How about the Jets? How about the Jets and the Raiders? How about that? How about that coverage? Greg Williams decided to play on that last possession, huh? That coverage was bad enough to get you fired. Oh, he did get fired. Hey, what do you know? What do you know? What? Hey, let me tell you something. When the general manager like Greg got dogged, and I don't even know what he got fired for first and foremost. I thought they was trying to lose. Like that's the overall goal, and he still got fired. So you fired me for being a sacrificial lamb? I was out here doing the work of the owner, and you gonna fire me? Ooh, I'm trying to get in trouble. What we doing out here?
Oh, keeping up appearances is what we're going for here.
Listen, I'm working harder than anybody. I'm trying to guarantee us a quarterback that might do something if we get the rest of the team right. All right? I'm trying to guarantee that. And you gonna fire me? Now you're gonna go hire somebody that would have actually ran the defense and we would have won the game. And guess what? For that, we end up with somebody else that's not Trevor. So don't get mad at me. How about Seattle? Listen.
Oh my God, yeah.
These dudes. Seattle is like for all my watchers and listeners that got kids. You know, you don't supposed to. If you got multiple kids, you don't supposed to have a favorite kid. But you do have like a kid. You like, man, I have a high expectation for this kid, and then this kid just. Hey, Pops, I told you I was dumb, but you didn't want to listen. You wanted to spend all this money on private school, and now you mad at me because you waste all your money.
Oh,
this is Seattle.
Oh, my God. I told you I was dumb.
I told you I wanted a degree and making mouse pads. And you wanted me to be an engineer. I'm sick of this. This is Seattle. Seattle, what we doing here? I had so much faith and confidence, even though you haven't played defense since the Legion of Boom. But neither here nor there. I had so much confidence in Seattle. I said, Russell Wilson, this year, my man gonna get his MVP. Oh, look at DJ Metcalf. Oh, somebody other than Dwayne Brown actually know how to hold a block for 3 seconds. Oh, we might have something going. Running game was looking positive. Oh, yeah, Carlos Hyde, Chris Carson, boom, boom, boom. And now we're losing to the Giants without Saquon Barkley.
Or Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones.
Or Daniel
Colt McCoy, sir.
Colt McCoy and Wayne Gallman.
This is the type of crap why I started enrolling in therapy. This is bull crap. Because when I go around here and I think I'm doing right, I'm doing everything, the New York Giants without their last 2 top picks, did the offensive lineman even play? The one that they just drafted in the first round, did he even play? Was he going to? Like, what are we doing here? Pete Carroll, it's time to put in the retirement papers. It's time, I don't know, it's time to put in the pension. It's time to get whatever you're going to get for the rest of your life. Your old ass got to get on out of here. This is ridiculous. I don't know. I'm blaming this on Pete Carroll. Yes, I am. Because for everything I see with Russell Wilson, he still can play the game. I don't know what's going on. I think it's just getting a little stagnant now. That's just me. But I'm putting this on Pete Carroll. That's bull crap. And you know who else I got to give a shout out to? How about that football team? You know, how about that Washington football team? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The Steelers been out here with the flopperooski for the last month and a pee. And, you know, it's about time somebody took care of it. And why not a team? Hey, they might not find a new name, but they got a dub on Pittsburgh. Holla at your boy. So, I got a question for you, Jay. With all that said, do you think that loss was an anomaly, or this is the future coming to Pittsburgh now? This is what we're going to see in the future with Pittsburgh in the coming weeks and in the playoffs.
I think it was bound to happen, given how they performed recently. It seemed like for several games now there's been some really uneven performances, and I think it's not a totally negative thing. You get that. I think there's something when you go undefeated for so long. There's kind of that little that kind of little nervous energy around a team, like, oh, we're going for the perfect season, or we're not going to go for it. And it's kind of that a little pressure point in the back of your minds. I think you kind of get that off the table, get that off that shoulder a little bit, and I think it relieves some pressure on you. I think now you play a little bit freer. I think Mike Tomlin, he's maybe the best motivator in football. I think he uses it. I think he'll use it correctly. I think they'll learn from it. They'll adjust. And I think just overall, you look at what happened to them. They didn't even try to run the ball. I know James Conner wasn't available, but they didn't even try. They ran the ball I don't know if they cracked 20 yards running the ball. So when you're that one-dimensional, it's tough to win against anybody. And Washington, Washington, for as much as we want to crack jokes and everything, Ron Rivera's got a real team over there with some real talent. They got a real defense. Alex Smith is coming there and stabilized them a little bit. So maybe not as bad a loss as we might think. I think Pittsburgh bounces back from them, I do think this is an anomaly.
Yeah. By the way, the leading rusher in that game was Peyton Barber with a hot 23. Can I interest you in that? That was a run fest. But last but not least, you know what I'm saying? Let me talk to these Buffalo fans, because sometimes I'm a pseudo Buffalo fan. You know how I get down on this show. Yeah, these Buffalo fans, they all beating on their chest. Oh, you see us the other night. Let them remind you that was Nick Mullins throwing the ball. That wasn't Jimmy Garoppolo. That wasn't Joey Bosa and the rest of the crew running after you in the secondary. That Richard Sherman out there ain't the same Richard Sherman that we used to. I say all that to say this. Good win. You always want to win the game, but that's coming down with we here. Yeah, you got to take us serious now. Maybe when you beat Seattle, we gave you that. But no, don't know. So, I just want to hit my closing arguments with let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes a little bit there, Buffalo. Let's see a little more. And, it always could be worse. You could be the Cowboys. Over to you, Coach.
Hey, you're laughing. They may beat Baltimore tonight. Who knows? I got that in recording time before the kickoff, so it counts. No, I think overall this weekend was what y'all pretty much laid out. It was questionable at times, but congratulations to Cleveland getting the 9 wins. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Tennessee, like y'all said, should be absolutely ashamed. And I think what Tennessee, like they're still like a dangerous team, I think, because of how they play. They play different from a lot of how other teams play. That the Derrick Henry, that snowball can get started, and against it's hard to like get out from under it if you get behind, and they can run the ball and kill the clock, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't think that they're going to go very far this year. I don't think that they're a team that's going to repeat. Obviously they go as far as Ryan Tannehill is going to take them, and 389 yards obviously was a mirage of what that game really was, which was a 38-7 beatdown when the game still mattered. I look at the Taysom Hill experiment. We are 3 games into it now. I think you'll kind of alluded to this one. But in those 3 games, he beat Atlanta twice, that spongy defense, the Atlanta Falcons, fearsome defense, as we all know. And the only game he played a good defense, the Denver Broncos defense, pretty much embarrassed him. He was 9-16 for 78 yards and a pick, and he was sacked 3 times. And the only reason they won that game, as we all know from last week, poor Denver didn't have a quarterback play in that game. I think that the Saints have already realized that Taysom Hill is not going to be the long-term solution, and I think Drew Brees might be back this weekend. If not, they're playing the Eagles, I think, so free win. But the next week he'll probably be back. But I'm underwhelmed a little bit with this Taysom Hill experiment. I thought maybe we might out of this.
Wait, hold on. So are they? Sorry, cut you off. Are they not going to let Crab Legs throw the ball? I mean, James Winston throw the ball?
Apparently not. Apparently, like Taysom Hill's got the dirty pictures or something. I don't know.
Okay, them dirty photos.
I wanted to see Jameis Winston with that offense and that coaching and whatnot, but we're not going to get that. We're going to get Taysom Hill running around doing what he does, so that's cool. A couple other things, real quick. The Giants, man, that's a good win. I mean, that is preseason. We talk about the preseason previews. I was hoping the Giants would be this. This gritty team that comes in, runs the ball, and they don't make mistakes. They don't turn the ball over. They have a chance. And then we didn't get that for the first half of the season, but that's what they're turning into. I mean, since week 5, they've won, I think, 4 of their last 5. And even in those games they didn't win, they were within like a field goal. I mean, really, Daniel Jones throwing picks is what sunk them in some of those other games. So I think that the Giants might be turning that corner. It's probably a little too late to matter this year, but the whole Joe Judge thing might be working down there. It just may be not on the timeline they thought they would be on, but it might be turning the corner. Saquon Barkley comes back. I'm just saying, the Giants have some weird stuff before,
I agree. I agree with you, Joe Judge.
But I think that's what we thought that team was going to be, and maybe they're just now kind of getting into it a little bit, so we'll see. Other than that, that's horrible for Seattle. I mean, that's just, my God, you cannot put up 12. And you can't even blame the defense. These other games you lost, you go, oh, well, defense, they just couldn't get it done. They'll score 12 points. 12. Moving on. But yeah, I think Kansas City's honestly somewhat bored. They just look like they're bored and just waiting on the playoffs. I mean, Denver's defense, again, credit to them. They did play well. They really do. They've got some good players. If they hadn't been racked to death by injuries, it'd be much better. But still, Kansas City just has that air of they're just kind of going through it. And the last thing I'll say is the Pittsburgh Steelers are the most maligned, attacked 11-1 team in NFL history. My God. What is with these big brain and a wagon behind you takes? Well, the Steelers are actually terrible, and the Washington football team finally – what are we talking about? Like,
overrated.
Mike Tomlin's a Hall of Fame head coach. That defense is absolutely disgusting. The problem is Big Ben is not going to be throwing the ball 50 times a game, or you are going to lose more games. But we've known that for a long time, and that pretty much goes for almost any quarterback.
Exactly.
Throwing the ball 50 times. So that's got to get the coaching up a little better. But again, Redskins. Oh, sorry, Washington football team. They do have a front seven and shut it down, and maybe that's the secret going forward to stop the run and make them throw it 100 times. And yeah, shout out to the Bills. Good job. But we'll see come playoff time.